the adoption of the agenda, it is recommended that the agenda of the October 18th, 2021 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
George will motion. May I get a second?
Reviewed and second.
Matt will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Approval of the minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the September 13th, 2021 regular board meeting be approved as presented. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Janet will motion. May I get a second?
I'll second.
George will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, statements from the public. We don't have anybody that signed up, so we'll just proceed with the next section, is the superintendent's report.
Yes, and Dean's going to present for us tonight on the new SS app, the South Spencer app, which we're excited about. Kind of been a work in progress. As he's setting up, I will let you know, they just finished up the roof at Lewis Elementary. They finished it up today, and then they're working on the one at the LAC. So they're gonna finish up the gym roof this week, and then they'll finish off the office part of it next week. So all the roofs should be good for many years to come.
Okay, I know it's not the best image up on the screen. I hope everybody can see that far back, but this is our new South Spencer web app. We launched this about 2 weeks ago, and the objective was to come up with an app that just had quick access items that you didn't have to go and log into a computer and pull up a full-blown website. So on the app, whenever you download it and you first launch it, it's going to come up to the South Spencer School Corporation by default. And in this upper left-hand corner, you can click the menu button, and it's going to pull up the different schools so you can switch to your school. The school that you switch to, the next time you open it, it opens up to that school again. You don't have to go back and forth to it every time. So I've got the high school pulled up. The news is the first button that you will have, which is just access to the social media links. In each building, we have a person designated to post to this. Sometimes it's the principal, sometimes it's the media specialist. It's going to be Facebook posts and different Twitter feeds. And that may be too hard to see from the back. I know that they posted a couple of weeks ago this particular post that actually has the link to download the app. There's another place on the website where you can also download the app. You can download it for an iPhone or for an Android device. The next button is the lunch menu. This just pulls up the current week's lunch menu. So for parents that just want to take a quick look at the upcoming week, you can flip through for the 5 days. Third button down is the Harmony access, and this just branches out of the app and goes to the actual web access that parents have to look up grades. Okay, athletic scores. My glasses on for this. So whenever you hit that button, of course, it pulls up the most recent athletic scores. You can kind of scroll down through them, the most recent one being at the top. Athletic scores are put in by the coaches, and so you can see 1 or 2 weeks back on athletic scores. There's also a schedule button at the top. We don't have a whole lot of activity right now because we're kind of between some sports, but it does show the Friday night football game coming up and then the girls basketball game coming up at the end of October. The events button will pull up the events for that school. There's a person designated in each office to add these events. So I've got the high school pulled up right now. If I click on the 21st, it shows that there's a blood drive in the Ox Gym on the 21st. go through and just click on the different days. The school messenger button, this one's a work in progress. It doesn't do a whole lot yet. There's a login. If you have an email account that's in School Messenger, you can create a login so that you can pull up and play back past messages that were sent out. We're still trying to work with School Messenger and come up with a little better tool there where those notifications could possibly be in the South Spencer app. And then the very last button is the contacts button. You click on that one, you can scroll through and find a teacher. If I wanted to send an email to Jim Bush, I would just hit that email button and it takes me straight to my mail program. And I can send a message to Jim. And that's it. That's everything in the new app.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Bush, ready?
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, for those of you who don't know, I'm Jim Bush, principal at the high school, and this is our guidance counselor, Mrs. Sarah Campbell. So what we've got here this evening is we've just got a little information on career and technical ed and what's available to our students. There's been some discussion about that as to exactly what we're able to offer here. So I just wanted to bring out some facts and some things just to let everybody know what is available to our kids. So we are a part of the Southern Indiana Career and Technical Center. It's located on Lynch Road almost all the way to 41. So if you go up and take Lynch across, it's a beautiful multi-million-dollar facility. It is very, very impressive. It's the largest facility in Southwest Indiana. There are 25 different high schools which belong to the Southern Indiana Career and Technical Center. So it's not just, a few small schools who feed into that. Your larger schools with your Evansville North and Evansville Central and other schools are, a part of this because they're not able to offer some of the things that are offered here at the Career and Technical Center. And they also offer a large number of college credit classes as well. So there are some that are and some that aren't. We're going to break those numbers down in just a second, okay? There you go. We normally, what we're able to do is we're able to take our sophomores over there, load them up on the bus, they spend the morning over there, they walk through the facility, they tour, they go from class to class. They have three different types of automotive. They have regular automotive, they have diesel, and they have a body shop as well. They have radio and TV, they have culinary, they have all different types of computer classes as well. But unfortunately, because of COVID-19, they are not allowing any of the schools to come through and tour the facility. Now they do have a link on their website where you're able to take the virtual tour if you want to do that. And then Mr. Kevin Williams has offered, he's the assistant director over there, he's offered to come over and do a presentation to our students. So we want to be able to do that so he can give them firsthand information and answer the questions better than I can, or just a virtual tour. Okay? They're going to have an open house there, and they're going to have two different dates for that at the Southern Career Technical Center, Saturday, November the 6th, and Wednesday, November the 17th. So we will get that information out to our sophomores. Juniors can go over as well if they would like to. Most programs there are 2-year programs, but if a junior wants to jump in their senior year and just do 1 year, hey, maybe I missed out on this, and so I can still get the first year of that. Juniors would be available as well. So this information will be up and available for everyone to see as well, so that they can go over and tour the facility. And then information just specifically about the Career and Technical Center and What we have combined with it, South Spencer students have 69 different CTE classes that they can choose from, 42 of which are college credit courses. So again, you can't obviously take lots of them, but if you go over as a junior in the morning and you go over for 3 periods, you get those 3 credits your junior year, and you go back for your senior year, and you could get 3 more credits. So that would be a total of 6 credits that you could earn over that point in time. So, 57 of those 69 are from Evansville. We offer 7 here at the high school, and then we also have a program with Evansville Central, MPA, Medical Professionals Academy, that we've had some students, go over and be a part of that and really get some nice medical training. They do have medical training in the Career and Technical Center as well, too. And so, it's a very, very nice program. Wanted to make sure that everybody knew that that was out there. Mr. Hunt, his daughter, was a part of that for 2 years and was very successful over there, working at that as well. So if you wanted to talk to Rick about personal experience and what Carly was able to do over there as well, I'm sure he'll be more than willing to talk to you about that. And then that link right there, if you just click on that, then it goes through all of the classes that are offered. It's like 23 pages, so obviously we're not going to go through that, but it gives the many different listings. And then Mrs. Campbell's going to talk about what we offer here at the high school academically, not just the Career and Technical Center.
Okay, so at the high school, it's listed up on the screen. Our AP classes that we offer here, we actually added 2. This year we added AP Microeconomics and AP Macroeconomics. So right now we're offering those 7. If a student earns a 3 or better on the AP exam, which is required at the end of the year for them to take, if they earn a 3 or better, they can actually earn some college credit depending on which school they go to. Obviously every school in Indiana is different. They'll accept different things, but across the board generally they can earn some college credit if they score a 3 or better. So the ones listed up here: AP Calculus, AP English, AP World History, AP US History, the Micro and Macroeconomics like I mentioned, and then also AP Biology. And then next one is our dual credit courses. So we have pre-calculus, that's through Vincennes. They can earn a total of 6 credit hours through there. Then when they progress through that, they can go to AP Calculus, and they can earn 5 credits through Vincennes. Another one we have is Anatomy and Physiology, and that's with USI through their CAP program, and they can earn 3 credits. And then lastly, we have AP English. They can earn 3 credits through IU, doing that their senior year. So those are just some other opportunities that students have to earn different college credits and different opportunities here.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, board, just talk to you guys. You talk about the country being divided, and just to say our board is somewhat divided as well, or it is divided as well. So, that's something as we move forward, that's something we need to work on. Communicating with each other and being a part, and that kind of thing. A quote that was sent out to us: "The truth doesn't mind being questioned." So if there's something out there that's the truth, hey, nobody should mind having somebody ask you a question about it if it's the truth. A lie does not like to be challenged. Another quote came is, "Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored." So we don't want to ignore facts. So I was going to ask you guys some questions as we go through just a little bit, just to kind of clear some things up. The other thing is hearsay. I've been hearing hearsay for the last 9 months. We're going into 10 months now. And hearsay is just that. Information received from other people that cannot adequately substantiate, or it's basically just a rumor. And there's been a lot of rumors going around. And we met in, it would have been March, April. We met in Jennifer Damon's room. And there was a lot of things said that just weren't true. I think it was Matt said, "Hey, why don't you just stand up and tell them this is wrong, these were lies." I said, "No, we'll just take it." And even after everything had happened, you just take it. But then after it's over, after the non-renewal, I'm still hearing things. And they're not correct, they're lies. And so I just want to ask you guys a couple things here, and please chime in. Reasons for non-renewal. Please let me know if I've done any of these things. Immorality, insubordination, incompetence. I want you guys' input. Please don't sit there and hold your tongue. If there's anything you want to say, please say it. Was it based on my evaluations? Because they've been effective or highly effective for the last 5 years. Neglect of duty. None of you have ever said that. How about anything illegal? Anything illegal. And I'm not talking in the last 9 months. I was talking even in the last 5 years, 5.5 years, because I've asked you guys that several times in the last 9 months. Reasons and that kind of thing. I've asked you if it had anything to do with curriculum, academics. No, nothing. How about anything to do with the finances or the budget? Nothing. Hearsay. I have heard that was spoke out. Somebody said name call in a public meeting. Said I name called. But when I sent an email out asking, whoa, who did I call a name to? Where did that actually come from? Hearsay. Absolutely nothing. Coercion. Where? Who? What? Nobody can tell me anything. Send out an email asking that. You guys are carbon copied on that email as well. Intimidation. How about a FERPA violation? But we've had that on this board. How about during an audit by the state? Have I ever been written up for unauthorized spending? I haven't. Somebody on this board has. Spend money wrongly? No. I had my wife question me on this one. She said, did you ever say Team Rutherford? I'm like, Lindsay, absolutely not. No, I've never said that. Sounds good, but that was brought up in a public meeting as well. Bullying, I've heard that multiple times. And I've asked you guys, who, what, when, where, how, and why? How is this even possible? Some of you on this board even said it was with teachers. I'm like, I'm not even in that realm. I'm not in their relationship. I'm not around people to do that. I think I even sent you, no, I did send you what bullying really is, what it is. And I have asked you multiple times. I even sent out a Google Doc for you guys to add information as well. And there's nothing. Hearsay, 100%. So at the back, I asked you to be honest. I sent you an email just asking you to be honest with me. Tell me the truth. Be honest with the public. Be honest with anybody, everybody. Culture and climate. When I came here and I interviewed, the number one thing that was brought up, there was 11 people that interviewed, 5 board members, others as well. And I asked, hey, what's the biggest concern? There was 2 big concerns. The climate and culture was the worst it's ever been. That's what was stated. Number 2 was teachers haven't had a raise in a long time. That was the 2 things, the climate and the culture. Anybody on the board right now, I'm asking you guys, do you have any evidence, anything, on any of these things other than hearsay? In March, when I asked you guys for your reasons for non-renewal, one of you said it's because I'm not a people person. George, I think that was yours.
That was right, yeah. And
Not
the
a people
bullet,
person.
number 15.
Yep.
In the executive session, you asked Janet a question. She said, I'm not for sure yet. And that meeting went on for 2 hours on you, on her, you on her. I'm not for sure.
So let's get to the facts, George. Are you going to say at least ask her 3 times? That is
I'd
what
say
the
more
reason
than that
why.
if it took 2 hours.
Janet, can you tell the truth on that one? How many times did I ask you? It was like 2 or 3 times, George. I asked one of your board members a reason
All right,
2 or 3
all right.
times. Is that
That's
a
it.
bully?
Yeah. If she says, I'm not for sure, that would be an answer.
Okay, so all I'm asking you, George.
That's
is
her answer.
Okay. So what I'm asking you this is, George, is this. You told me in March you're gonna not renew my contract, and you didn't have a reason. And then I'm asking, Janet says she's got that, so I did ask, hey, what's your reason? And I did, I asked 3 times, George. If you look at the definition, that's not a bully, just asking somebody a question. Somebody's getting ready to fire you, George, are you not gonna ask them why? And you might ask them
Wasn't
more than
asking her
once.
why. And, Team Rutherford up there, yeah, I've heard it before.
With who?
You,
George, I've never said
asking
Team
people,
Rutherford.
if you're not for me, you're against me.
George.
Melissa right there,
Yeah,
Melissa and Barb had a
Barb
meeting
Tooley.
with you.
Barb Tooley.
And did he not ask you, are you with me, are you against me? Then he told
Listen.
Barb, he said, well, Barb, you could go back and tell Luce Township that Melissa Middleton's not with Richard Rutherford.
Oh, is that when you guys were trying to non-renew my contract the first time? Is that correct? Because if Barb was on the board, that was the first time we went through this, George, that's correct. If I ask if you were for me or not against me,
That's my reasoning right there.
Okay.
You have it.
okay. No, and the reason I ask you that, that's interesting because that happened in an executive session, if it would, or a private meeting or whatever, and then it came out through the CTA. So that conversation ended up in a CTA because Veronica Hobbs presented that at a CTA meeting, that I said this Team Rutherford at a CTA meeting. So it's interesting how there was a conversation that maybe we had when you guys were trying to non-renew my contract the first time. And then it went from, hey, are you for me, Melissa, or not? But the term Team Rutherford never came up. That's all I'm asking. Where did Team Rutherford come from? Unless it was just made up. I'm just looking for some honesty is what I'm looking for.
Got my answer.
Are you looking it up now?
We have the climate audit from 2019. We have the questionnaire that was given to us from the CTA. I think that's substantial enough because
Okay.
that's evidence.
Hey, excellent. Climate and culture, the climate audit that we did, that Michael Addison did, not one question on there was about the superintendent.
No.
It was all about it put a lot of the pressure right back on the principals. It didn't have anything to do with the superintendent.
But it was the climate audit overall, you know, at all 4 buildings and then also as a whole as a corporation.
Okay,
And
was it broke or just it needed some work?
It definitely, you know, whenever the comment that when he was given the results to the board and to the administration, when he sat down and said, you know, South Spencer, you're not broken, but
But there's room to improve.
it's very concerning whenever that statement was made.
Okay, so it's not broken, but there's room to improve. And that was what, 2 years ago?
2019.
That was, oh, yes,
I think it was May when we got the results, May, June.
correct.
something
That
like
was the illegal spending, right?
No.
That's when you didn't listen to Melissa Davis and Dr. Michael Adamson.
Okay.
And then that opened the door. That's why we were audited. And that's why you were brought up in the audit for misappropriation and not spending correctly and then going through the proper procedures.
Well, the statement on that audit doesn't state that.
We can pull that up for sure. So anyway, going back to climate and culture, so when you say that, you're saying that 2 years ago, there was a survey done, and it said it wasn't broke, but there's room to improve. So that's your reason for non-renewal?
Has the climate and the culture, is it better in our corporations? And
So that's an excellent question, Melissa, excellent question. Give me some things that I have done that caused this climate and audit to go bad. Is it because I stood up and bashed Matt Bunner? Is it because I attacked anybody? Is it because I go to games and cheer on the Rebels? Is it because I come up here and give positive reports when things are going well? I mean, when you say the climate culture is bad, I mean, you're trying to put that all on me. And I'm just asking you again, where's the facts, where's the data, where's anything that says this? Because
Well-
I've heard that multiple times, climate and culture, and again, that's when I was hired in, the climate and culture was terrible. But then I even showed you all the data and information from all your principals as well in that Google Doc. And all your principals said the exact opposite of that. Rockport Elementary did not say their climate and culture was worse. Your high school didn't say that. Your middle school didn't say that. And Luce Elementary didn't say that. None of them said that the climate and culture was worse.
But then that falls on the part of that they're afraid to say anything because of the treatment they will receive that I hear all the time.
That's perfect. So can you give me any examples other than hearsay that maybe, possibly, if you've ever said something, Richard Rutherford is going to step out of the box and do something he's never done before in his life?
Well, I'm not going to give examples because I've had staff and teachers confide in me and trust me by not releasing their names.
And
I'm
you
not going to do that.
Gotcha. And you do realize that I don't have that interaction with teachers.
With staff,
I don't have that. I don't have that interaction. I'm not with the teachers like that. That's what I mean. That's the hearsay part. That there's no facts to any of this.
so what about the survey that the teachers done that was presented to us, was it June or July?
Oh, gosh.
That was done.
By the CTA.
Mhm.
Correct. Excellent point on that, Melissa. Excellent point. Who put the survey together?
Our teachers,
Who put all the data together? Who presented it?
our teachers.
Veronica Hobbs. And even when you put all the data together, you had percentages that didn't even match up,
One
didn't even
question.
add up.
There was one question that was like that.
And the questions were open-ended. It wasn't done methodically. And the same person that put it together calculated all the data, put the comments on there and everything, was the same person that stood up 3 different times at our board meetings and said things like Team Rutherford, said things that just were factually 100% not true. So it would almost make sense that, wow, if this is the only person that put this data together, can we really say that that's good data?
But Veronica Hobbs wasn't the only one that put that data together. Our teachers, our staff answered these questions.
And then
Veronica
they took,
did not answer these questions.
No,
She
but-
put these questions, or the answers together and provided this information to us.
That is correct. And again, who put all the information together at the end and who presented it to us? Veronica Hobbs.
Yeah?
Is that how a survey is done? Is to have a person that does not want you, does not like you, put the survey together and calculate the data and do everything? Doesn't that seem
But these
just
are
a little bit
statements
biased?
from our teachers, right here. How can we just ignore that? How do we just ignore that? We have over, 59 teachers that filled this out, right here. How do we ignore their statements?
Are you sure those are those statements? And when I asked you before about doing another survey, a real one, you said no to me on that one. So when you say the teacher survey again, we don't know if those were actually the teachers' comments. We don't know that because it wasn't done with any type of fidelity, none whatsoever. That is not how you do a survey. You had several teachers who wouldn't do it because they didn't want to be a part of it.
I mean, that's your opinion, and I respect that, but
Sorry,
this
that's
is
just
my
coming from
opinion.
teachers.
I trust this. I trust these teachers that are sitting in this room right here,
Of
right
course, the
now,
ones that are
and I'm
sitting
sure
in
that
this
over
room.
half of these teachers answered these questions.
Melissa, we had teachers reach out to me personally and say, I was coerced into.
All
taking that
59?
survey." No, but if one does, it messes up your data.
58.
If it's one, how do you know it's not 30? If it's one, how do you know it's not 58?
I still trust that a majority of these answers are true.
So in June, in our board meeting, right out here in the commons area, you mentioned, Chris made the motion to bring up the discussion of Dr. Rutherford's contract for renewal. And the 2 things that you brought up as to the deciding factors, and I've got it on video, you can go back and listen to the thing, you said, his evaluation and the 4 items on an unfair labor practice. The unfair labor practice came back with nothing.
Those were the 2
and
things that had to
eval-
be completed. The evaluation,
Okay.
which was going to be done in August, which we completed that.
But you said that's what weighted your opinion in terms of pushing it to, I think it was this meeting, to actually, to make that move.
I was under the assumption that those 2 items had to be completed. I mean, they can be the deciding factor on whoever wants to use those, that data. But, I mean, there was a lot of data that was brought to us. I mean, the survey from the teachers, the staff that are coming to me and telling me, you know, the intimidation.
You know, we also had a lot of data from an outside legal company where board members sought outside counsel to get rid of a superintendent in the first year of his contract. And you voted on that in October 19 in a public meeting to pay for it.
I voted because we were told that Richard consulted outside attorney, consultation from an attorney. Am I correct,
Richard did?
Brian? That's been 2019, 2 years ago. That's what I was told. That's the reason why that we had to get outside attorney.
There was discussion about whether to renew Richard's contract or not. It appeared, this is way back when, that it may be heading toward trying to not renew him. And so the determination was made that there needed to be discussion between 2 different attorneys on different sides of this. So Richard was going to get his own attorney, and I advised the school board to get their own attorney as well because it put me in a conflict situation.
So just for clarification, so this did happen in 2019 as well. The same thing as non-renewal of my contract. You were brought in for that reason, is that
Evidently.
correct?
I wasn't brought in for that reason.
But they met with you for that reason. And that would have been February of 2019.
I don't know that there was a meeting about that.
I mean, the invoices that you get in your board packet that someone in the public got up and read indicated in bold print that the purpose of going to that attorney was seeking to end his contract or even displace him from
Was
his
my name
contract.
on that?
It was in your board packet.
My name was not on that invoice for that.
So Melissa, are you telling me that you didn't try to do this in 2019 as well?
Like,
Not renew my contract in
just
2019?
Eliminating you, I renewed your contract to get rid of that, to eliminate the clause.
So
the
it had
evergreen
nothing
clause.
to do with getting rid of me in 2019?
Getting rid of you,
Non-renewing my contract to make sure I was out the door?
we had to non-renew your contract because to get that clause removed from the contract.
Brian? I'm gonna just.
That's not a non-renewal. That's a negotiation of a new contract is what happened as opposed to non-renewal.
Okay.
A non-renewal could have occurred as a result of all that negotiation, I suppose.
Because I do know in February of 19, I was removed from an executive session, and you guys had that discussion. You were part of that, Brian, in February of 19, it was Rockport Elementary, and it was all about non-renewal. And then the president at the time met with me the very next day, February 12th, met with me the next day, and told me that they've already decided it's a 4-1 vote, and it's gonna be non-renewal. And then they gave me option. I mean, he said, hey, you just need to bow out now, or
There was no
back.
vote taken in executive session, nor could there be a vote taken in
Okay,
executive session.
so when he said that, he just made that up? He
I
would have
don't know
had
what
to,
he
he
did,
didn't
but-
say that, hey, there's 4 that supported and 1 that did not, is that correct?
I don't know what he told you, and I don't know what was said in
Okay,
that
got
meeting.
you.
As far as that is concerned, I know that the ultimate outcome of it was that there was negotiations and there was a new contract entered into.
Okay,
So if it was a 4-1 thinking at the time that you were gonna be non-renewed, that didn't happen.
okay. And again, we'll probably go back and look at the invoices and that kind of thing as well, because it's pretty clear there. Okay. Climate and culture, so basically it's the CTA, Melissa, is that correct? The teachers?
Staff, teachers.
Okay, I haven't heard staff before. This is the first time I've heard staff. Usually it's just teachers. I haven't heard staff yet. So I didn't know if staff was part of it or not, because I haven't talked to any staff. Or all I've heard is positives from our staff and many of our teachers as well. So I was just asking about the climate and culture, I just wanted some clarity on that. Okay, not a people person, correct? Dictator, I heard that was the reason as well. I think that might have been a March meeting that I was told by one of you guys that I was a dictator because you heard it from 2 teachers. And I was just going back to the hearsay piece of it, just making sure that, you know, hearsay versus fact. So climate and culture, okay? The only reason I bring it up now is because, you know, I've heard the bullying piece, I've heard some of the other pieces with no facts, no data or anything like that, none whatsoever. After the vote was made, I heard one of our board members tell somebody it was mistreatment of women, the way I treat women. My wife heard that as well. That doesn't sound good. The other reason that the board member gave was because of personal reasons. Now, if that's your personal reasons, I'm okay with that. But if it's something to do with me, that sounds really bad. So what I'm asking you guys as board members to do, if you have a reason for my non-renewal, if it's just because you don't like me, just say it. If it's because of payback, if it's because revengeful, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine, just be honest with me. But I do ask you not to slander my name and say things that are just inappropriate and wrong. Mistreatment of women and personal reasons does not sound good. So that's what I'm asking my board members to do from here on out, is not to do those things. The other thing is, it's a repeat of history. Same exact thing. Melissa, Janet, I've always heard the bully and everything else with teachers, ULP, everything, teachers. Understand it's the exact same thing that happened to Kansas Haskell as well. Exact same thing. I ask as you move forward, do the right thing. Base your decisions on kids, what's right for the community. And board, as you move forward and elections comes up, make sure you run for the right reason. Don't just run and then with an agenda. Do it for the right reasons. Communication, I would like you guys to communicate with each other as we move forward. I think it's important that if you're going to call our attorney and use taxpayer funds for it, let the rest of the board know what's going on. And you can look up there regarding issues, past board actions. A letter from Katie Richard about George Sweppy related to emails. Complaint about a board member. Review of law, removal of elective officers, powers and boards and things like that. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, illegal wise, and they've done this for years. Is that correct, Brian? They've always had the latitude to come to you and ask you questions,
Sure,
or even before you, they can do that.
The superintendent has
Sure
that
can.
right and does, and board
Everybody
members
does.
do.
They do. It's perfectly fine. What I'm asking you guys to do is don't abuse it. And then if you do, let the rest of the board know what's going on. The next one, conference with George and Melissa. I mean, if this is a board matter, then let it be a board matter. If it's personal, then don't be using our attorney. But anyway, go ahead, George.
The one that me and Melissa had a meeting with Mr. Russell, the IBSA is the one that recommended us to see our attorney about the Katie Richard deal.
Okay. And I think it's okay just to go ahead and let the rest of the board know what's going on. Taxpayers' money, don't abuse it, please. That's all I was asking there. Shoot straight. We'll change a little bit. Congrats. Trey Embry, all conference, singles. They also won their first sectional game against Boonville. That was kind of cool. They kind of pieced everything, did a wonderful job. Taylor Harmon, goalie, second team all conference. Nia Bumfield, first team all conference. And Molly Schulte, soccer, honorable mention. Emma DeWeese, moving on from regionals. She runs next Saturday. So that's awesome, semi-state bound. She's a sophomore, she's rocking it. The band received a gold grading at the regionals, headed to semi-state, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday at Franklin Community at 5:45. Friday, this coming Friday, the band will perform at Band of America Super Regional, Lucas Oil Stadium. Awesome. Friday night was an amazing win for our boys on the gridiron. Great win. It was tight all the way down the line. Almost got called by lightning. Came back, finished it out. Ended up winning the closest game there. Gutsy performance. And they're at North Knox this Friday for sectionals. Hey, that's my board report. Thanks. Sorry about that.
Okay, we have the consent items. Approve the payroll claim dockets and the account payable claims numbered 4717 through 4875. Approve the treasurer's financial report. Approve the monthly transfer from the education fund to the operations fund per board resolution. Accept the resignation of the following. Approve to post positions and grant permission to hire. Sarah Hancock, South Spencer Middle School cook, effective September 24th, 2021. Tasha Lindsay, bus driver, effective September 24th, 2021. Sarah Garrett, South Spencer High School swim helper, effective October 4th, 2021. Jessica Thomas, Rockport Elementary special needs aide, effective October 29th, 2021. Kayla Tharp, Rockport Elementary special needs aide, effective October 26th, 2021. Approve the FMLA for the following. Martha Carver, Luce Elementary teacher's aide, continuous from August 31st, 2021 to November 30th, 2021. Emma Mundy, South Spencer Middle School and South Spencer High School choir director, sporadically from October 12th, 2021 throughout the end of the school year. May I get a motion?
I move that we accept the consent items.
Okay,
as
Matt.
presented.
Motion, may I get a second? George will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Administrative recommendations. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve to hire Justice Taylor, South Spencer Middle School 6th grade girls basketball coach, starting with the 2021-2022 school year. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Janet will motion.
I'll second that motion.
Matt will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve to hire Jeff Beatty, South Spencer High School varsity boys basketball assistant coach, 50%, starting with the 2021-2022 school year. May I get a motion?
I'll move to make that motion.
Matt will motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Janet will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve to hire Eric Small, South Spencer Middle School boys basketball help, starting with the 2021-2022 school year. May I get a motion?
I'll move that we hire Eric Small upon the recommendation of Dr. Rutherford.
Matt will make the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Janet will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve to hire Evie Wildeman, South Spencer High School archery coach, starting with the 2021-2022 school year. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
George will motion. May I get a second?
I second Evie Wilderman to that position.
Matt will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve to hire Christopher Todd, South Spencer High School assistant swimming coach, starting with the 2021-2022 school year. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Janet will motion. May I get a second?
Second.
George will second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Michael Hurt, South Spencer High School boys track assistant coach, starting with the 2021-2022 school year. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Janet will motion. May I get a second?
I'll second.
George will second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to increase Angela Esterline, South Spencer High School cook hours from 4 to 5.5 hours a day. May I get a motion?
I motion.
George will motion.
For the race. Yes.
And Matt will second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to post and hire the following: South Spencer High School cook 4 hours per day, Rockport Elementary cook 4 hours per day. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Janet will motion. May I get a second?
I'll second her motion.
Matt will second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to change the multimedia support specialist from 181 days to 186 days, starting with the 2022-2023 school year, starting 5 days before all staff returns. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Wait,
Janet will motion. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Go ahead.
Matt will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Susie Webb as a special needs bus driver starting October 4th, 2021.
I'll motion.
George will motion. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Janet will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. New business of the board. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved by resolution to adopt the 2022 CPF plan. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Janet will motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Matt will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved by resolution to adopt the bus replacement plan. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
George will motion. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Janet will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same.
And that was provided last month, so we have all data on that too.
Motion carries 4-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve ordinance or resolution for appropriations and tax rates. May I get a motion?
I move that we accept the approved ordinance and resolution for the tax rates and appropriations.
Okay, Matt will motion. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Janet will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0. Information items, these were written reports to the board: the technology report, maintenance report, transportation report, new volunteers report. Any statements or concerns of the board?
I got one statement. Early last week, Chris and I went to the ISBA Fall Conference. They had a lot of good presentations for school board members and for superintendents. And I'd just like to emphasize to our whole board that we utilize good governance going forward. I mean, I know what we've been through over the last 60 days with a non-renewal and a heavy discussion. It's important that we conduct business in the manner in which the board should conduct business. It's also important that we, again, follow the ethics provided to us, and that we stay within the lane, policy and procedure, not go over into administrative or outside of our lane in regards to communication. And there were some people that gave some great discussions, and I'd be willing to share this with any of you, make copies of it, and any of the notes that I took to help you in such a manner. But there was a lady from the Avon School Corporation that gave a great presentation on how to be a cheerleader for your superintendent and your school corporation. There's a whole lot more that goes into whether or not someone wants to move into our school corporation than the appearance of the building and how we look on a web page. There's a lot of other things that don't look good, that aren't healthy for our board, our corporation, or any of the principals over them. So I just encourage you to look at the ISBA in regards to the ethics and the board governance that we went through back in January. Thanks.
Okay, the next meeting will be Monday, November 15th at 6 p.m. in the multi-purpose room here at South Spencer High School. Time is 6:50. May I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move, go ahead, George. I second.
George will motion, Matt will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed, same. Motion carries 4-0.
You guys have several contracts to sign, if you haven't already signed for it, so. If you eyes out, you get one proper
Thanks, Ron.
Well, the sun was shining. Oh. Look at this shade.